So what do you do if you want to make an actual copy of an instance, such that you can actually modify it separately? Although there are more efficient ways, the basic principle is that you must copy it at the level of the immutable data types. So in other words, if we set myPerson2 equal to myPerson1, then they're both pointing at the same data. Instead, we have to construct a new instance of person and pass in those immutable data types as arguments, as opposed to just setting myPerson2 directly equal to myPerson1. So here we see a halfway successful example of this. We create myPerson2, and we pass in as arguments the name, eye color, and age of myPerson1, as opposed to just passing in myPerson1 itself or setting myPerson2 directly equal to myPerson1. What this does is it forces the computer to create a new instance of person with its own variables for name, eye color, and age. So now we have myPerson1 and myPerson2. Because myPerson2 has its own variables for name, eye color, and age, then changing them, as we do on line 14, changes only where its own variables point. So it changes where its own copy of eye color points, not where myPerson1's copy of eye color points. And so, after creating myPerson1 and myPerson2, and changing myPerson2's eye color, we come down here and see that sure enough, myPerson1's eye color didn't change when we changed the eye color for myPerson2. But this isn't completely successful. Down here on line 17, we changed the first name for myPerson2, but we see that when we print the first names for both myPerson1 and myPerson2, now they're both Vrishali. The reason is that when we created myPerson2, we passed in myPerson1.name as the argument. myPerson1.name is a mutable type. It's an instance of the name class that we created right here. So after creating myPerson2, myPerson1 and myPerson2 are actually pointing at the same name. And so modifying that name modifies it on behalf of both of them. I noted that the way you make a real copy is you have to copy at the level of the immutable types. String and integer are immutable types, but name is a mutable type. So to make this work, we also have to create name at the level of the immutable types, at the level of the individual strings. So here's how we do that. Note that the structure of the initialization for myPerson2 is pretty much the same as the one for myPerson1. In both cases, we create a new instance of person, but we also have to create a new instance of name for both. We can put in myPerson1.name.firstName in for the first argument of the second name constructor, and the same thing for the last name, because once again, there we're copying at the level of the immutable types. First name and last name are strings. Strings are immutable, and so here we're making a true copy. And sure enough, in our output, we see the successful results. On line 18, we again change myPerson2's name to Vrishali instead of David, and we see when we print those two that myPerson1's name has stayed as David, while myPerson2's name has changed to Vrishali. This way, we can modify myPerson2's name, and it does not affect myPerson1's name.